Hello and welcome. You're watching Beyond World is One. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and let's start this broadcast by taking a quick look at what is making headlines at this hour. Russia launches a deadly drone and missile attack days after Ukraine's audacious attack. Footage from the strike shows missiles screeching overhead, moments before erupting into a fireball of explosions. Now, Ukraine's military says that it has struck Russian airfields and fuel reservoirs overnight, its first attack on energy facilities in Russia since the middle of March. Now, Russia's National Guard says that it has killed a man that it caught trying to launch an attack on a military site using drones packed with grenades. This comes days after multiple military bases were targeted. The White House squashes speculation that Donald Trump and Elon Musk will patch up their stunning public feud, saying that the United States president has no plans to call his billionaire former aide. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that he'll attend the Group of Seven Leaders Summit in Canada this month after receiving a formal invite from the new Canadian Prime Minister. And Bangladesh will hold fresh elections in early April for the first time next year since a mass uprising overthrew the government last year. The interim leader Muhammad Yunus makes the announcement.
Hold on to everything you thought you knew about the cosmos. The story we have been told about the universe's genesis might be a cosmic fabrication. A new theory dares to question the ultimate origin, suggesting the Big Bang was not the starting gun, but a mere echo in an infinitely grander cycle. Take a look at this report.
The Big Bang the explosive origin of time and space may not be the beginning after all. For nearly a century, the Big Bang has stood as the ultimate origin story, the fiery moment from which all space, time, and matter exploded into being. Now, a team of physicists argue that the Big Bang wasn't the beginning, but a transition, like waking up from a long sleep into another cycle of a far older universe. This bombshell theory, recently detailed in Physical Review Journal, proposes a bouncing cosmology where the universe didn't explode from nothing, but rather rebounded from a previous phase of contraction. Imagine the universe collapsing inward over billions of years, and then bouncing back into expansion. This idea is more than poetic, it's mathematical. The study builds on new equations in loop quantum gravity, a field that aims to bridge the laws of quantum mechanics and general relativity. So maybe we weren't born from a one-time bang, but from a repeating beat of crunch and expansion, a universe that inhales and exhales forever. The Big Bang wasn't the beginning, it was the bounce before the next breath. This isn't just a tweak to our understanding, it's a fundamental shift in perspective.
Their horn makes rhinos instantly recognizable, but this animal is about to lose it. Conservationists in Africa have been dehorning rhinos for more than 30 years to save the endangered species from poachers. A new study has found that the measure is effective.
This study was conducted, it actually was 7 years of data that were used to draw our conclusions. What that allowed, particularly in terms of dehorning, was the fact that 8 different reserves dehorned, but they dehorned at at different times during that 7-year period. And that gave us kind of multiple natural experiments to see the effect of dehorning. And it consistently, no matter when it was implemented, no matter what the background conditions were, it consistently resulted in reduced poaching.
The area around Kruger National Park is home to around 25% of the world's rhinos. Thanks to dehorning, poaching cases have fallen 78%.
Removing their horns, what does it do to is there any social implications? Is there any, does it change their foraging habits? We don't really know, except for the social implications, we have seen that removing their horns do, at least in black rhinos, cause them to change their spatial movements and to retreat into smaller home ranges.
Dehorning needs to be done every 12 to 18 months because they grow back. South Africa has the largest number of black and white rhinos in the world.
Under the blazing sun of Saudi desert, Muslim pilgrims gather Thursday at Mount Arafat for one of the most significant rituals of the Hajj pilgrimage. With temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius, many sought strength in prayer and resilience in faith. The heat is affecting the elderly pilgrims and not the young. Elderly pilgrims are getting fatigued because of the heat. Some are not coming out due to the high temperature and they cannot walk long distances, while the young pilgrims are not affected by the high temperature and can walk and move. It doesn't affect them a lot. To ease the heat, authorities installed large fans and sprayed cool mists, but for others, spiritual devotion overweighed physical discomfort.
Alhamdulillah, the heat is much, but after praying Masjid Namira, coming back, saying the takbiyah, Alhamdulillah, more energy, we have more energy to say it, but the heat, we don't feel it after praying in Masjid Namira.
The day of Arafat, considered the holiest day in Islam, is a moment of intense prayer and reflection. This year's Hajj has attracted over 1.5 million international pilgrims, though officials have yet to release a final count.
Here in Miami's Little Haiti neighborhood, residents are taking stock of President Trump's latest travel ban, which bars Haitians and people from 11 other countries from entering the United States. The ban takes effect on Monday. Haitian immigrant Marcelin says it will close a door on people in desperate need of help. Haiti right now has a problem of insecurity. The country is ours, we can't give up on it. However, because gangs control the country, everyone's life is at risk. That's why people who have the opportunity come to the US to be safe. The Caribbean island has been ruled by violent gangs since the assassination of President Moïse in 2021. Residents now face deep economic and food insecurity.
For Donald Trump,
it would be better if Donald Trump helped the country. These decisions are not good. Many people need help. The country can recover because Haitians are strong. And we have a great history. Trump will only stay for 4 years. He won't stay forever. Members of the Haitian Transnational Presidential Council have not yet responded to the travel ban. Meanwhile, aid groups have warned that the ban will impact their work.
Somalis reacted with disappointment to the ban. Somalia is among 7 African countries whose nationals are prohibited from traveling to the U.S. effective Monday, June 9th. The others are Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Congo, Sudan, Libya, and Eritrea.
And he's talking about like he doesn't need some people who are living it, especially he told me like there's a time he said like Muslim or Africans are like gorillas, something like that. I heard something like that. Through my face, I will tell him like Africans like they are human beings like him, and there's black Americans who lives there, who works there, who are looking for better life in the United States of America. So it's not about skin, it's about humanity. It's supposed to give people people the documents to work there. They need some people how to live there and to look for better life in there.
U.S. President Donald Trump tied the new ban to Sunday's terror attack in Colorado, saying it underscored the dangers posed by some visitors who overstay their visas. But the attack suspect is from Egypt, which is not on the ban list.
America is a land of opportunity. It's multicultural. There's all type of culture over there. Even that I'm Somali, I prefer being East Africa. I prefer being I don't prefer being America. I'm Africa. Even that he said Somalian people, they're not supposed to be in America, I feel like he's being racist.
While not entirely banned, travelers from Sierra Leone, Burundi and Togo will face heightened restrictions. The African Union condemned the ban, while Chad responded by suspending visa issuance to Americans.
President Trump's newest tariffs have officially taken effect, doubling duties on imports of steel, aluminum, and other metals to 50%. And while the increase is expected to raise prices on things like cars and construction, you might not be expecting it to impact your grocery bill. But experts say it likely will. Think about it. Many common grocery store products rely on steel and aluminum for packaging. Canned goods, soda pop, and beer, as well as pet food, just to name a few. And some of the businesses behind the country's most commonly bought groceries are already saying they expected to pass price increases on to consumers. It comes at a time when Americans are already struggling to afford the necessities. A recent LendingTree survey found 1 in 4 Americans now turn to short-term buy now, pay later loans to keep their pantries stocked. And Klarna, one of the nation's biggest lenders behind these loans, says more people are paying on their installments late, costing the company $136 million in the first quarter of 2025. LendingTree's research backed that up, finding 41% of those surveyed said they've paid late in the last year. Meanwhile, America's total consumer debt has reached a record $18.2 trillion. The New York Fed found household spending rose 4.5% in April compared to the same time last year.
Now, what began as an unstoppable alliance between the world's most powerful man and the world's richest man has exploded onto everyone's screens. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, once bound by power, ambition, and billions and billions and billions of dollars, are now locked in a public feud that could reshape American politics and beyond. And our next story takes a close look at the meltdown that has played out on social media and also what's likely to happen next after the end of this very high-profile bromance.
It was the alliance of the century.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Trump's campaign energy fused with Musk's tech empire.
The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Musk cheered Trump as he was elected president for the second time.
A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy.
Trump gave Musk unprecedented powers. He gave him the reins of Doge to save billions of American taxpayers' money.
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste.
They laughed over dinner, discussed policy at golf resorts, and hailed each other in speeches and memes. And then this happened. Hurling barbs at each other on the social media sites they each own, a bitter end to their unlikely alliance. Trump slammed Musk, says he is disappointed for Musk's continuous attacks on his big, beautiful bill.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair.
Musk continues to fire attack after attack on his X platform, saying Trump wouldn't have won the election without his backing. Trump doubled down by threatening Musk's massive government contracts, including for launching rockets and for the use of Starlink satellite service. Musk then went ballistic. He tweeted, suggesting without evidence that Trump appears in unreleased files related to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein was arrested in July 2019 on charges of sex trafficking and died by suicide while awaiting trial.
The bromance that helped shape the 2024 campaign,
digital meme wars and billion-dollar defense deals is no more. What remains is a scorched battlefield and a looming question. What's next? Will Musk throw his weight behind a new candidate or run himself? Or could there be a patch-up? Bureau Report, we are World is One.
President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday imposed sanctions on 4 judges at the International Criminal Court. It's an unprecedented retaliation over the War Tribunal's issuance of an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and a past decision to open a case into alleged war crimes by U.S. troops in Afghanistan. A statement by Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the 4 judges had, quote, actively engaged in the ICC's illegitimate and baseless actions targeting America or our close ally, Israel. The ICC slammed the move, saying it was an attempt to undermine the independence of the court. The investigation into alleged war crimes by American troops in Afghanistan was opened in 2020. 2 of the judges sanctioned on Thursday were involved in an appeals chamber decision that allowed the ICC prosecutor to open the investigation. Rubio said the other 2 judges last November ruled to authorize the arrest warrant against Netanyahu and former Israeli Defense Chief Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity during the Gaza conflict. ICC judges also issued an arrest warrant for Hamas leader Ibrahim al-Masri at that time. The ICC has international jurisdiction to prosecute genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes in member states or if a situation is referred by the UN Security Council. The United States, China, Russia, and Israel are not members. The new sanctions come at a difficult time for the court, which is already reeling from earlier U.S. sanctions against its chief prosecutor, Karim Khan. Last month, Khan temporarily stepped aside amid a United Nations investigation into his alleged sexual misconduct.
Dear Sergei Alimovich, colleagues, dear friends, I am delighted to welcome you to the presentation of the Republic of Dagestan at the platform of the main Directorate for Servicing the Diplomatic Corps under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. First and foremost, I want to wholeheartedly congratulate everyone present, all your friends and loved ones, the residents of the Republic of Dagestan, and all Muslims on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. Goodness, neighborliness, peacefulness, and care for one another. These are the true values of Islam, which hold special significance in these challenging times. They contribute to the unity of the multinational people of our country. Muslims of Dagestan and the entire Russian Federation make a vital contribution to preserving centuries-old Islamic traditions, strengthening spiritual and family values. Today, on the front lines, shoulder to shoulder with representatives of other Russian faiths, they demonstrate courage and bravery daily, defending the interests of our shared homeland. We bow our heads before these heroes, wishing victory to those who remain in the ranks of the special military operation, and peace to all of us. May kindness, piety, mutual respect, and harmony always be with you and all of us, giving us strength for new achievements. Returning to the topic of the presentation, I have no doubt that today's event will allow our numerous guests to get better acquainted with this unique and vibrant region of the Russian Federation and to fully appreciate its economic, investment, cultural, and tourism potential. Dagestan, located on the northern slopes of the main Caucasian Ridge, has long been called the land of mountains and the land of languages. Dagestan is a kind of ethnographic phenomenon. 4 centuries, more than 30 indigenous nationalities and over 60 ethnic groups have lived here in peace and harmony. All of them have preserved their own languages, cultural traditions, folklore, and crafts. Some of these you may have already seen at the exhibition organized in connection with today's presentation. Those who have visited this hospitable Russian region rightly note the warmth of its people. Dagestan is associated with the names of many outstanding compatriots who have brought glory to our homeland in various fields, including, of course, the renowned Soviet and Russian poet and public figure Razel Gamzatov, whose centennial was widely celebrated across Russia in 2023. I would particularly like to highlight, as I mentioned earlier, the contribution of Dagestanis to the defense of our common homeland, both during the Great Patriotic War and today on the fields of the special military operation. Today, Dagestan is a dynamically developing region of the Russian Federation, with modern, diversified agriculture, food processing, industry, and mechanical engineering. As far as I understand, there are 7 industrial parks in the region. Its advantageous geographical position opens opportunities for the development of infrastructure, trade, and logistics, particularly within the framework of the North-South International Transport Corridor, which we discussed today with Sergei Alimovich and his colleagues. Dagestan is renowned for its rich cultural and historical heritage. Its nature, with breathtaking landscapes, the unparalleled beauty of the Caucasus Mountains, and the warm beaches of the Caspian Sea, is truly unique. Guests can enjoy a variety of tourist routes, modern ski resorts, and healing springs. The region actively promotes international contacts, maintaining ties with more than 60 countries, primarily in the near abroad and Asia. We welcome the commitment of the Republic's leadership and business community to further expanding trade, investment, and cultural humanitarian exchanges, as well as hosting international forums on its territory. Our ministry and our foreign representations will continue to provide all necessary support in line with the unified foreign policy course of the Russian Federation, as approved by President Putin. Dear friends, today you will have the opportunity to immerse yourselves in the ancient traditions of Dagestan, including tasting its unique local cuisine. I hope you will also identify new directions for mutually beneficial cooperation. I wish all the residents of Dagestan and its leadership health, prosperity, and success in achieving their plans. Thank you for your attention.
Культурно-гуманитарных обменов, проведения на своей территории международных форумов. Наше министерство, наши заграничные представительства продолжат оказывать в этом все необходимое содействие в русле утвержденного президентом Путиным единого внешнеполитического курса Российской Федерации. Так что, дорогие друзья, сегодня вы сможете приобщиться к древним традициям Дагестана, в том числе попробовать неповторимую местную кухню, ну и, надеюсь, наметить новые направления взаимовыгодного сотрудничества. Желаю всем жителям Дагестана и его руководству здоровья, благополучия в реализации намеченных планов. Благодарю за внимание.
Iran and Israel are preparing for any eventuality if the Washington-Tehran nuclear talks don't get to a deal. Now, Iran is focused on its uranium enrichment, while Israel is carrying on air drills. In our next report, we discover how these arch enemies prepare for the battlefield. Take a look.
Israel and Iran are gearing up for the battlefield, gearing up for any eventuality if Washington's nuclear talks with Tehran do not yield positive results.
Independence means not waiting for the green light from America and the likes of America, and not worrying about the red light from America and the likes of America.
UN Atomic Agency has warned that Iran is stepping up the production of enriched uranium in the thick of its talks with the United States. It says Iran has increased its stockpile of uranium enriched to 60% in less than 4 months. The United Nations nuclear watchdog says that Iran's cooperation with the agency is less than satisfactory.
The big difference here is that we are talking about more or less 400 kilograms of 60% uranium. It's a very high level of enrichment.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacted to the IAEA report, saying that it was a clear warning sign that Iran is totally determined to complete its nuclear weapons program.
This is evident from the alarming scope of Iran's uranium enrichment activity. Such a level of enrichment exists only in countries actively pursuing nuclear weapons and has no civilian justification whatsoever.
The Islamic Republic accused Israel of providing unreliable and misleading information to the United Nations nuclear watchdog to be used in its new report. In light of recent reports of an imminent strike on its nuclear facilities, Tehran is aggressively increasing the capabilities of its missile system, ensuring that it has more nuclear-capable weaponry in its arsenal. Recently, Iran unveiled a new solid-fuel ballistic missile called Qasim-Basif, which has a range of 1,200 kilometers. Tehran had recently unveiled its underground missile city. The country has drawn up detailed plans for 5 new missile bases. These are heavily fortified underground military facilities that store, maintain and can launch short, medium and intermediate range ballistic missiles. They form the backbone of the country's missile strategy, designed specifically to protect key assets from detection or destruction during conflict. Its increased stockpile of weapons having a nuclear payload includes medium-range ballistic missiles such as Khurramshahr, Shahab-3 and Sejr. It also includes intermediate-range missiles such as Imad and Ghadir. Iran's Defense Minister Aziz Nasirzadeh says Tehran is ready to defend itself in case of an attack. He added that Iran has no hostility towards neighboring countries, but the United States bases in the region will be considered targets by Tehran. Reports suggest Israel has been preparing itself to launch strikes on Iran's nuclear bases for months. Reports say US intel has gathered information regarding the movement of Israeli troops and ammunitions in the West Asian region. Israel has reportedly conducted air drills and is waiting for US President Donald Trump's nod to attack Iran. Israel has even conducted strikes targeting Syria's coastal cities, Latakia and Tartus, saying it struck weapon storage facilities containing missiles that posed a threat to international and Israeli maritime freedom of navigation. According to a Reuters report, Saudi Arabia's Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salman held a closed-door meeting in Tehran with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in April. During the meeting, the Saudi prince reportedly warned Iran that Trump had little patience for drawn-out negotiations and that it would be better to reach a deal with the US than face the possibility of an Israeli attack if the talks broke down. This situation raises a critical question. Will Israel proceed with unilateral strikes on Iran's nuclear program without approval from the United States?
The tensions are intensifying in the Baltic Sea region as Russia and NATO are conducting parallel military exercises. The exercises mark a showdown of strategic posturing in this geopolitically sensitive area. Russia has launched some live-fire naval exercises in the Baltic Sea since the 27th of May, involving about 20 ships, including 4 carrying sea-based caliber cruise missiles, with an effective range of about 1,500 kilometers. The war games involve naval ships, 25 aircraft, various ground-based cruise missile launching systems, and 3,000 service personnel from Russia's Baltic and Northern fleets, as well as Moscow and Leningrad's military districts and airspace force, a mirror to NATO's onslaught. Now, across the same waters, NATO is going ahead with its annual Baltops drills involving thousands of troops, naval ships, aircraft and also amphibious ops. These exercises are aimed at boosting interoperability and amongst the 20 allied nations through sea mine sweeps, submarine hunts, landings and also medical preparedness. Now, Russia has labelled NATO's Baltops drill as a preparation for confrontation, with Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Grushko warning that it echoes planning against a comparable adversary. The drills occur against a backdrop of increasing regional sensitivity. Russia has recently disrupted communications and ships tracking systems in Baltic waters that NATO sees as part of a hybrid warfare campaign. The Latvian admirals have warned that such activity threatens civilian navigation and undersea gas infrastructure. The NATO defenders view Baltops as a clear message of solidarity and readiness amidst growing Russian threats. Russia in turn sees these exercises as directly targeting its military. The Baltics are increasingly a provincial stage for both high-intensity warfare planning and also hybrid confrontation.
Sirens rang out across Ukraine after an intense overnight missile and drone attack from Russia. At least 4 people were killed by the strikes in the capital of Kyiv. The barrage also triggered fires in residential buildings. CBS News foreign correspondent Remi Inocencio joins us from London with more on this. Good morning, Remi. You know, President Trump this week warned that Russia would be responding to Sunday's attack by Ukraine. Might this be it?
Yeah, well, Russia said that they would respond very strongly after the readout from that call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And right now, we're seeing that Russian presidential spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that those overnight attacks on Ukraine, quote, was a response to Ukrainian actions. The implication there is that it very well may be in retaliation for those massive drone strikes that happened last weekend, hitting several air bases across Russia as far as 3,700 miles away from the front lines, taking out something like 40 or more bombers and aircraft. Russia now also admitting that this is a massive attack this morning. And what we're seeing on the screen here is the aftermath of those strikes. Ukraine's defense ministry said that Russia fired nearly 50 missiles and more than 40 drones. It said that it took out most of them, but not all of them. We know that Kyiv got the brunt of the attacks. Several districts were hit, reporting explosions, reporting damage. Right there, you're looking at the northwest region of Ukraine, the town of Lutsk. There was a hotel that was hit there, close to the Polish border, and there was Ukraine's national track and field team that was also they were in that hotel. Now, all this, as we're seeing now, is potentially some response to Ukrainian actions, but we don't know if this is the end of it. Errol, this could be just the beginning.
And this footage of the ongoing war is just stunning to see. Now, the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia have stalled. And in an Oval Office meeting yesterday with the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, President Trump voiced frustration over that. What did he say?
Absolute frustration. Yesterday, it appeared that he was metaphorically throwing his hands up in the air, almost as he was saying about Russia and about Ukraine, fine, let them duke it out. Take a listen.
Sometimes you see 2 young children fighting like crazy. They hate each other and they're fighting in a park. And you try and pull them apart. They don't want to be pulled. Sometimes you're better off letting them fight for a while and then pulling them apart.
In response to Russia's strikes overnight, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is pleading with the world now to pressure Russia to stop the war. But, after peace talks last Monday in Istanbul only lasted an hour, we know there's no public plan yet for another round, Errol.
All right, Remi Inocencio with the latest. Thank you, Remi.
Загалом за одну цю ніч було більше 400 ударних дронів, більше 40 ракет, в тому числі балістичних ракет. Цим ударом росіяни пошкодили в Києві житлові будинки, звичайно. А вже ж, звичайно, міську інфраструктуру. В Луцьку, на Волині вони зруйнували, зокрема, звичайний готель, в якому були українські спортсмени. В інших регіонах є пошкодження, на жаль, і житлової інфраструктури, і енергетичної інфраструктури, промислових підприємств. Росіяни спалили навіть черговий склад з гуманітарної допомоги.